There was a real sense of excitement and potential around Palace. We had this young, dynamic, really bright manager, quite a buccaneering board, and the ambition was to not just get up but stay up and become a big club. I came here with my dad, and my dad joined the board as entrepreneur, businessman, and was invited to join the board in the early 80s. Sorry, and I think he literally must have been one of the only, if not the only, black director in the first division when we were in the first division. Certainly when the Premier League formed in February 1992, and I used to come with him in all temperatures and watched many a match.
Palace had a lot of black players. Is that quite an inspiration to young black
Definitely, I think so, definitely. I think at one stage 2/3 of the squad was, of African and Caribbean heritage. And they were chosen because they were good. They weren't chosen because of their race. So I think we definitely were trailblazers. We were seen as trailblazers at the time in that sense. And again, I think, Stevie Couple and Ron Nodes in that era can take credit, because they were fantastic going out scouting and identifying undiscovered talent. We were not the kind of club which was going to be able to spend millions on transfer fees, etc. A lot of the strategy at that time was, through the YTS scheme, etc., was plucking undiscovered talent and turning them into stars. And we did that very well. I mean, the only time I can remember us actually properly splashing out a big amount of cash was when Nigel Martin was bought, and he was the first £1 million goalkeeper. Other than that, it just didn't happen, and so that really gave opportunities to people from lots of different backgrounds to make it. I kind of grew up in the era of, Bright, Wright, Richard Shaw, John Solarco, Tony Finnegan. Tony Finnegan is one of my constituents. All those guys. I think we all remember their time on the field here very fondly, and they were inspirations for others. People often ask, well, okay, Palace, South London, what is a real distinguishing feature of our club? And I do think the fact that we are a very family-orientated club. And in some senses, people say, well, every club is a family-orientated club. But I think it is something that people do say about Palace. It is a distinguishing feature when you speak to people in the game, media who report on it. It's something people do say about our fans. It's a very family-orientated place, this club of ours, and it is very much a community hub. Very special. I always get quite emotional actually just standing here. It's always just, you have to take a moment. And it always, coming here always reminds me of my late father, who I lost when I was quite young. And so I always feel like there's definitely a bit of him here. Each of the box offices attached to each of the stands would sell matchday tickets. And I used to sell to away supporters. Millwall were not always particularly very nice. Port Vale, actually.
Really?
Yeah, I actually refused entry to one guy. And I said, mate, you've come all this way, you ain't going in the stadium. I mean, God knows what he thought, this kind of like slightly gobby 17-year-old or 16-year-old as I was then telling him after he'd travelled all that way he can come in, but I kind of thought, if you're going to abuse me, mate, you're not coming in. And I told all the stewards as well. And then I tried to make sure that I didn't bump into the guy when I was going home later on. But actually, generally speaking, the away fans were all right. Some of my fondest memories of my childhood were coming here when I was, a boy, and just spending quality time with my dad watching the matches here. So that's why it's so special for me.
And I guess he'd be proud of how much the club's come on.
Oh my gosh, absolutely. I mean, it's come on leaps and bounds, and he'd be absolutely over the moon with where Palace is right now.
Well, Chuka, thanks so much for taking time out of your day
Pleasure.
to come and see us.
Thanks for chatting to us.
And hopefully see you back at Selhurst Park again soon.
Yeah, 3 points, please.